And I want to go into Arsenal here, and I think there's only really one place to start today, and that's with the Declan Rice situation. So just to kind of give this a bit of background for today, Damasio has said that Man City are advancing their talks with City. No official bid has gone in yet for him, but they're confident in getting him. There's big talk of a third bid worth 100 million from Arsenal going in. Talk to me.
Last straight facts. I was here. The Arsenal fans were getting upset at me. They were getting angry at me. Oh, why is this Liverpool fan talking about Arsenal? He should talk about his own football club. Comment section. Let's all take a breather before I start speaking. Let's listen to what I'm saying. Don't look at the club I support. I just said Liverpool suck as soon as Terry asked me the question. Forget my club. Let's talk about Arsenal. Arsenal suck too. That's just the truth. You look at this whole Declan Rice situation, and I swear to God, if somehow he doesn't end up being an Arsenal player, I genuinely don't care who they buy as a replacement, unless it's some sort of unbelievable player. They just have absolutely just bottled it. And me and Terry have spoken on this channel, and we've said, guys, Arsenal Football Club need to be serious. Arsenal Football Club need to be what? They need to be serious this summer transfer window, right? So do you guys call, because see, comment section knows last week, you guys were upset. You guys started crying. Is Kai Havertz seriousness? Is Kai Havertz seriousness? No. If you have chased Declan Rice for so long, and he ends up being a City player, what do you want me to say? Oh my God, yay, clap, Arsenal. What? The truth is, you can't bottle this Declan Rice transfer. He might end up being a Arsenal player. You never know. I'm not saying it's all over. Of course it's not. You never know in the summer transfer window. There's reports coming out that, he wants Arsenal, all of that. We will see 100%. So we will see what happens with Arsenal Football Club, but he could still end up being an Arsenal player. But I'm just talking about the levels of aggression from Arsenal Football Club's perspective. And I will say again what I said last week. This is what I'll say. Arsenal right now are at their Alisson and Van Dijk stage. I was the first one who said it online. I came on straight facts and I said it word for word. I said Arsenal now need that Alisson and Van Dijk window. I think Arsenal Football Club would have been better off just signing Caicedo and Rice and no one else. I know some of you will come tell me, you need a right back, you need this, you need that. No problem. You would have been in 100% much better position if you just signed Caicedo and Rice together. If your this summer was Caicedo and Rice and no one else, that would have taken you to the next level, because those two players would have elevated your team to the next level. Hello, Terry. Those were two would have elevated your team to the next level. Now, Caicedo is probably not going to end up being at Arsenal. He's not going to end up being an Arsenal player. If Declan Rice somehow doesn't end up being an Arsenal player, it really is a problem for Arsenal Football Club. Because my thing is, look, Arsenal are at a crossroads right now. They need to take themselves to the next level. Rice would help take that midfield to the next level. So would Caicedo, blah, blah, blah. With all due respect, you start talking to me about the likes of Halavia or this guy or that guy. I don't think these guys would take you to a Premier League title, because remember, you finished second. You need now in this current position, you finish second. You need players that are going to take you to first place. You need players that are going to be good enough to win the UEFA Champions League. What you go do is you sign Kai Havertz, who's essentially a failed false nine at Chelsea Football Club, to come play midfield. And according to the reports, Declan Rice is going to end up at Man City. According to the reports, that is, he could still end up at Arsenal. You never know. So this whole situation for Arsenal Football Club just shows a little bit of a lack of seriousness. It could be Edo's fault. By the way, I'm not even blaming Arteta or anything. It could be Edo's fault. It could be that Garlic guy's fault. It could be multiple different people's fault. But the truth of the matter is Arsenal needs serious signings. Absolutely serious signings this summer transfer window, because next season, bro, you're going to be competing in the UEFA Champions League. Arsenal fans, I know you guys don't know what that feels like, because it's been a while. But you're going to be competing in the UEFA Champions League. You're going to be competing in the Premier League, trying to win it. What's the point? If you did this whole second this year, and we challenge City and blah blah blah, and then go finish sixth next year. Because let me give you an example. Liverpool Football Club 13-14, we finished second. We ended up, after we sold Suarez, you guys are not selling anyone, but we had a horrific window. Lambert, Borini, Balotelli. We just signed a bunch of quantity. If you sign the likes of Alavia and Havertz and all of this, with all due respect, you ain't going to be on nothing next season. And I think you'd actually be fighting to get top four, because it's just going to take you down that much. That much it's going to take you down.
Do you know what's really interesting about it? It's firstly, I say this to rivals. I get this banter in Arsenal and having fun. This is bad news for everybody if they get Rice. As much as I don't want Arsenal winning the league or City, I want Man United to do it. If they get Rice with Guardiola going in, Kovacic already there, I just don't see anybody catching them. And for me, this is bad news for everybody. So there should be an element of disappointment for the lot. Excuse me. But from Arsenal's point of view, they have publicly allowed the narrative to be since February they're winning this race. The player's happy with the personal terms. And I don't disagree with any of that. I think that's all true. But for you to allow the narrative to be that, and they could have always played it down. They could have quite easily gone to their journalists and said, look, we haven't had contact yet. We like Declan Rice. They could have played the story down, but they didn't. They allowed the story to bloom and to flourish and to grow and to spread, to be repollinated. This thing is now, it's everywhere. They have to get this deal done. I understood why they bid low to begin with. I don't disagree with the tactic, because if you bid, someone said to me last night, actually, there was an event last night, but if we'd have bid 100 million straight from the bat, City would have just matched that anyway. And that's why it's kind of hard sometimes with hindsight to play that game. But if you're ahead of the race and you're winning the race, you have to get out the water. The big blue shark is coming. I said it about a week ago. They had to do it, and now they're running a big risk. Now the West Ham kind of contingent and in the nose have essentially stated that things are not as advanced as certain journalists are pointing out. I think they were talking about DiMaggio without mentioning him. But whatever happens, City are a hard club to fight off and beat to a player. And this is massive for Arsenal now, because if they miss out on this number one target, there will be a big percentage of the fan base that becomes angry. And I'm sorry if I'm repeating what you said. I had to run to the door. There's somebody at the front door. Sorry. But I think for me, as a Man United fan, if they don't get him, it doesn't bother me per se that Arsenal don't get him. But it's about the message it sends. It's the fact that there isn't a player available, in my opinion, as good as Declan Rice, unless you then go and get Caicedo, and that could potentially save the day. But if you end up with no Caicedo and no Declan Rice, what's the level of play you're then bringing in? You're not going up to another level. Partey and Xhaka both want to leave now because you've told them they're not wanted. So even if you keep one of them, they don't really want to be there. That can become a problem in itself. And Arsenal go from having a very good season, a very good start to the window in terms of the progression they've made with these deals. But if you don't get them over the line, you cause yourself a problem. So all the angry Arsenal fans out there, I totally 110% get where you're coming from. I understand it completely. And I think that you need, again, it still hasn't been announced that it's officially gone in yet. Maybe it has, and there's a delay with it coming out. But Arsenal needs to be going out now and going 100 million plus 5, 100 million plus 10. Declan Rice, I know we agreed with you 200 grand a week, 250. There's 275. Come to us. I don't agree with the notion of just spend whatever it takes. It's not my money as a general rule. But there are exceptions that are different. Arsenal, if they now overpay by 10, 15 million pound on the fee, if they now pay him 20, 30, 40,000 pound a week more salary than they were initially going to, that is worth it to stop him going to City, because an slightly overpriced Declan Rice is better than no Declan Rice. And Arsenal have got to step up now and get this done, because Urian Timber is a great bit of business if they bring him in. Kai Havertz is a very intriguing piece of business. I'm very intrigued to see how it goes on. But with no Declan Rice, the whole window goes from potentially being a 7 or an 8 out of, or a 9 out of 10. You're dropping down to a 4 already, because he's such an important part of what Arsenal need. And they've led the race since February. They have to go and get this done, Arsenal. They really, really do. They really do.
I agree with you. I just don't know why. People are just not seeing it. People are just not seeing the this is the calm before the storm, type thing. Like, the storm is about to happen, and it's up to you guys if you change. Not you guys as in like Arsenal fans, because it's not in your hands. It's up to Arsenal Football Club to change things for you guys, because Okay, if you don't get Rice, you don't get Caicedo, then you're screwed. I'm gonna be honest with you, unless you go up a level. Because if you start talking about the Lavias and Zubamendi and I don't know who, all these guys, they're not gonna take you to no Premier League title. That's the thing. So
Yeah.
they're just not gonna take you a Premier League title. That's the problem.
I'm seeing people in the comments say things. Well, I've got to find it now. This here, like Rice is extremely overrated. And listen, bro, you're entitled to your opinion. I respect it. It's what the Terrace was invented for. But the fact that we know that Tuchel wanted him, Arteta wants him, Pep wants him, Eric Ten Hag wants him. The fact that some of the best managers in the world, the best football team in the world currently, the treble winners want to buy him, there has to be. And by the way, they're all willing to spend north of 90 to 100 million pounds, which makes him one of the most expensive football players in the history of football. Makes him only second to Jack Grealish, and it might end up being higher than Jack Grealish, maybe the most expensive British player of all time. They're both willing to go near to or break their transfer records for him. There has to be something. I just this notion of fans saying he's just overrated. That for me is so reductionist and oversimplified, and just it's almost like me saying Pavarotti was overrated just because I don't like opera music. It's just because you don't like the style of footballer Declan Rice is doesn't mean he's overrated. When the best of the best in the world want to sign him, Bayern Munich wanted to sign him. The only big club that are not really looking at him in recent times has been Real Madrid, but they don't need him with Tchouaméni, Jude Bellingham, Camavinga, and what they've already got. But if he was available and they had a hole, they'd look at him as well. He's that good a football player, in my opinion, which is why Arsenal need to get it done. That's why 110%, in my opinion, they have to go and get it done. We have some super chats here. First one says, what are the realistic add-ons? What are some realistic add-ons should be put in place to get a bid accepted? Arsenal must get it done. Well, realistic ones will be, every 50 appearances will give you another £2.5 million, up to the value of 10 million. As an example, every 20 Champions League appearances, you get paid £1 million, up to a maximum of 50. Something along those lines. It's realistic and it's achievable, and it isn't based on you winning things. That's the way of doing it. But aside from that, offer them £100 million cash in 2 installments, 50 and 50, or 60 up front, 40 next year. No incentives. Whatever City offer, you've got to make it better. You have to make it better, because as great as Arsenal's project is, as much as they improved last year, this is Pep Guardiola, the champions of England, and only for the second time ever in English football, treble winners. That is hard to compete against in any capacity. So what you need to do is make West Ham accept the bid, because what I do believe is true is that Declan Rice would love to play for Arsenal. But as Ben Jacobs has explained many times on the Terrace, players can agree personal terms with 3 or 4 clubs. Clubs very rarely bid or make serious inquiries unless players have agreed to join. And the fact that Arsenal, City, and now Man United have all made some level of bid tells you that he's happy to join all 3. So it isn't just about agreeing personal terms. It's about blowing your opponents out of the water. And listen, I'll be, as a rival, if Arsenal better City's offer, better the wages City offer, all I can do is take my hat off to them and go, that's serious. The whole Arsenal walked away because they felt there was no value in the deal anymore. If that's what your media tells you in the end, I'd be fuming, because
I don't think they're serious now. That's the problem. I really don't think they're serious now. You're talking about Rice, Caicedo, levels like that. If they go a level below that, you start talking about like Lavia and shit. They're just not going to go anywhere. I'm going to be honest with you, because they're trying to win a league title. They're trying to win a Champions League, and they can't do that. They can't do that with these youngsters. They really can't. So that's the issue. That's the issue for Arsenal, lack of seriousness. Because listen, these other clubs are always going to have more money to pay. And with all due respect to Arsenal, City are of course a much more attractive club to go to. I think Liverpool as well are a more attractive club to go to, but we don't spend money, so we're never going to be in for someone like Rice. But like there are clubs in this world that are more attractive than you. Just because you think you finish second the year and all this, okay, you're attractive, you're a London club, you're a massive club, all of this. But at the end of the day, you can't sit here and say. And by the way, the add-ons question: Arsenal winning the Champions League is not a realistic add-on. That's not realistic.
No, it's not.
It's not, because who like how can you guarantee Arsenal win the Champions League in these next 3-4 years? That's like 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 million that West Ham are going to lose on. That's the thing. So like those things matter. Those things matter too. Well, or just forget add-ons. Just put the money up, as exactly what Terry said. If City pay 95 plus 5 million add-ons, just call West Ham and go like, here's 100 million, no add-ons, and that's it. Let's just get Rice. That's as simple as that. You can't be sitting here just dilly dallying with this BS.